Major events from the last decade. 1990, Iraq invades Kuwait and seizes all assets initiating the Persian Gulf War. East and West Germany are reunited. 1991, the US and allies win the Persian Gulf War against Iraq, but stop short of invading Baghdad. 1992, President Bush and Yeltsin declares a formal end to the Cold War. 1993, the European Union is ratified. 1993, Nokia sends text messages between mobile phones. 1996, Taliban Muslims fundamentalists capture Kabul, the capital of Afghanistan. Little Al-Qaeda terrorist training camps are set up. In 1999, the world population reaches 6 billion. In 2001, on September 11, terrorist attacks the World Trade Center in New York. And half of all Americans now use the internet. In 2003, in his State of the Union address, President Bush announces that he is ready to attack Iraq even without the UN agreements. Globalization is a process of interaction and integration among the people, companies and governments of different nations, a process driven by international trade and investment and aided by information technology. This process has effects on the environment, on culture and political systems and economic development and prosperity, and on humans' physical well-being and societies around the world. Terrorism is defined as the use of violence to achieve a political goal. It's a way of striking terror either by kidnapping, sexual assault, bombing, striking, or any form in order to intimidate the government or to succumb to their demands. Unipolar world. It describes a distribution of power in which there is only one state with the most of the cultural and economic and military influence. For example, there is one superpower that influences the most of the world, for example, the United States. Digital era. The historical period characterized by the existence of digital technology. It can be also characterized by the technology in which increases the speed and rate of knowledge turnover within economy and society. We can take these concepts and connect it with real-life events that happened before. For example, globalization, we can connect it with a desert storm where 35 nations made a coalition to stop Iraq from invading Kuwait. Terrorism, with the famous attacks on the World Trade Center. Unipolar world, like how the United States had like this influence or this power to invade Iraq without no one to oppose to stop it. In the digital era, we can connect it to the last ISIS attacks when they use social media to make the people know their goal and their last terrorist attacks, like propaganda videos. Why did globalization emerge? Globalization have always been present, but now is more notable because of all the technology we have. Since past, civilization have been trading goods and food so they can develop. Because, for example, one nation has a lot of one resources but lacks of another, and the other one has that resource they lack, so they trade so they can satisfy their needs. So that's why globalization emerged. In most cases, what caused terrorist attacks in the 20th century? For me, terrorism is a type of retaliation with some protest because most of these people come from places where nations have done, like for example, invasions and things like that. So they're trying to show their struggle so they can get more support to stop like these tyrants or things like that. How does the end of the Cold War relate with the unipolar war? Unipolar war means that one state has the more power. So we can see in the Cold War how the Soviet Union fall. So we can say like the Soviet Union lost and the United States won for like saying. So this give like more influence, more power to the United States. So it became more world with mandate of the United States. Like that's how it relates. How has the digital era influenced into today's society? Well, it changed forever how we see the world because before you only talk to people that were near, you only care about your neighbor states, but now with all the technology and all the things, like you can be interacting with some guy of China and at the same time with some guy of Africa, and it make the world more connected. Like it doesn't mean where you are, you can still interact with anyone in each part of the world.